Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and thank you for being part of this weather community. I do this for safety, so thank you for putting your comments, where you are, what you've been getting with the weather. I do appreciate that. All right, let's get to it. Here is Francine watching this. I'm going to zoom down into this and what it means, watching some of the heavier rain parts of Mexico right now and in the Caribbean, watching what's going on off toward the east. Now, here's a closer look at Francine. You see this big blob here? That's not the center of it. The center is right here, very close to the extreme northeastern coastline of Mexico. This here is called a predecessor rain event. Sometimes when you get a tropical system lifting up to the north, it feeds in this big batch of rain well out ahead of kind of the main area. So this is going to bring in some initial rain today up toward Louisiana in particular, but there's the center of it. Now, of note, what I've been watching too is in between a little dry pocket has gotten in. That is some good news. So will this get winds of 100 miles per hour? I want to show you some things that may prevent that. So we'll get into that. But right now, that little dry slot is helpful, although I've been seeing some of the showers and storms really building near the center. So we are going to see some development out of this. How strong it gets, that is going to be a big question mark. The rain, the big issue with that, at least to start. Then elsewhere, some scattered showers and storms around Trinidad and Tobago. We've been unsettled. We had some scattered storms yesterday. Hit or miss near Jamaica. You see that feed kind of coming in right there across parts of eastern Cuba and Haiti. We've had some spotty showers, a few as well near the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Martin. We could get a few showers. Now, what am I watching next? Well, out here in the tropical Atlantic, a lot of kind of bubbles to watch, these areas of rain and storms. Now, this initial one, as I was mentioning yesterday, do not expect development, but this secondary area behind it, I do expect it to develop. So I want to take you out in time in this video a week out in advance because we're in the Caribbean watching this area out here, and I want to show you kind of what I'm seeing with that next system, which could become Gordon. I believe that's the next name on the list. This here is Francine, on track from what I showed you yesterday as a tropical storm, and then it should become a hurricane, then work its way into Louisiana with a landfall later in the day tomorrow. That's when the center passes on shore, right? Now making those preps in Louisiana for potentially winds around 100 miles per hour. Let's hope it is less though, but again, the worst weather moving in tomorrow, though some rain out ahead of it. Now, sometimes you get these wrinkles. I remember being in a hurricane in Louisiana back in 2003. That was Hurricane Lily, and that was what was going to be like a Katrina-like system moving into Louisiana. It was a Category 3 storm, I think around 2 in the morning. By 6 in the morning, it was just 4 hours later, it was a Category 1. And what happened was it ran over some cooler water. Now, over the last few days, 7-day temperature trend, you see some of this blue in here. Some of the water temperatures have dropped off. So while I do believe it is going to strengthen, it's not a guarantee that it gets super strong. My point is there's a lot of variables. You always prepare for the worst, which they're doing in Louisiana, no doubt. Very smart folks there preparing for that. But there are a lot of question marks as far as the intensity. So I did want to point that out because I know there's a lot of kind of scary stuff out there. But the hurricane watches, warnings, tropical storm watches, or warnings out rather in the blue. This red all across southern Louisiana and some parishes inland. The hurricane warnings are up. Again, heaviest weather just off to the east of northeast Mexico here, just to the east of parts of Texas. So this will work into Louisiana, exact landfall point to be determined, and then lift up to the north. And as it weakens, it is going to bring a lot of rain up toward the Mississippi River Valley and eventually the Tennessee River Valley. How strong does it get? Well, this is going out on time a day, 2 days out in time. So as we work our way into tomorrow, most of the modeling does bring this to about a Category 1 hurricane. Could it be stronger? Yes, but as I mentioned, some of those other variables, the dry air sneaking in this morning, that is helpful because I don't want any strengthening, and some of it's not cool water. The water's warm enough for further development, but the water temperatures have dropped slightly. They're running really in the mid-80s in the northern Gulf of Mexico at this point because of all the rain. So hopefully that is somewhat of a saving grace. So showing you this, but it does get better organized. It's just a matter of how much, but the rain, as I mentioned, about a foot of rain possible in parts of Louisiana. Now, my friends in northeastern Mexico, most of this action later today will be offshore. Alberto and Chris rolled in right into this spot. This system a little different. You see how it stays offshore Mexico. Heavy weather working in throughout the day tomorrow into Louisiana. Worse weather just to the east of Texas. And then the center of this will start to move in by the time we get into later in the day tomorrow. It could be a landfall anywhere from 3 p.m. all the way through about sunset time. That's when the center will cross shore. That's when the heaviest weather will work in, making those preps for a Category 1 hurricane. hurricane, the flooding, winds of 100, category 1 or category 2. But let's keep our fingers crossed that it is less. And there's that slug of rain lifting up to the north. And of course, with any landfalling system, there is that tornado risk. Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Alabama, and the extreme western panhandle of Florida. There's the circulation there. Now we'll get some gustier winds northeastern Mexico, South Texas as well throughout the day. That red shading, those are winds of 70 miles per hour or 110 kilometers an hour. You get more of that red starting to show up. This wind model is based on the American model, trying to get more and more organized. You see the winds close to hurricane strength. Those would be some of the gusts of about 70 miles per hour right in here, close to 90 miles per hour if it does strengthen, and it will strengthen some. It's just, as I mentioned, a matter of how much. And then by the time we get into tomorrow morning, some of the stronger winds, tropical storm force winds, working into coastal Louisiana tomorrow morning. Then conditions go downhill with hurricane conditions as we get into the afternoon hours and early tomorrow night, right through southern Louisiana. Of course, the winds will diminish as this moves inland, but just a huge rain maker. And there are those winds still working their way inland, even some gusty winds. Watching Mississippi, I feel like Mississippi always gets left out as far as these storms are concerned, as far as the attention, which is really not fair. Even in Katrina, again, that storm surge was beyond the real deal. We're going to see that storm surge and watching out for that tornado threat and the flooding across much of Mississippi and parts of Alabama. Now, category 2 hurricane winds of 96 to 110 kilometers an hour. That's what it's kind of looking like now, or at least that's what a lot of the forecasts are showing now. But with that dry pocket, it may be a little bit less. Let's hope it is less. We'll just wait and see. As long as you make the preps, what it does, it will do, and you go from there. Now, here's what I'm watching on the broad picture. So here we are in the Caribbean, Dominica, Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad, St. Vincent the Grenadines. Watching these spots out here. There's that first area. See it right there. Not developing. I've been talking about that, I think, for about 4 days, how I was not seeing development out of that area. And then you see as we go forward, that area kind of pulls up more to the northwest. But look back behind it. That's the area I do believe will develop. Now, if it develops sooner, things that get stronger have a tendency to go more to the north if they can, if nothing's blocking it. So if this wraps up, by that I mean if it gets stronger, that would be good news, because what that would do would keep it well to the north of the Caribbean. So that would be good news for us in the Caribbean. You see this area. This is by Sunday. No, I'm watching it in Bermuda, for example, Atlantic region of Canada, monitoring it down the road, because sometimes these things get a little funky as they move more to the northeast. But you see us here in the Caribbean, and there's that spot there, potentially a hurricane as we get into early next week. But if this holds, not anywhere near the Caribbean. I'm going to watch for changes video by video, safety first, but as of now, you can see here, by a week from now, this would be substantially off to the northeast of the Caribbean. Then what happens, that would be a wait and see. So I do believe that second area will develop. The ICON German model has it develop into a tropical storm. The American and European, I was just showing you the American, it's the same thing as the European, both have this area becoming a hurricane. The Canadian model hasn't been picking up on too much really over the last couple of weeks. It hasn't seen a whole lot of development, which has probably been more accurate since there hasn't been a lot of development, but it has it as no storm. But I do believe that second spot that I'm watching out there in the Atlantic will develop. I'm cautiously optimistic that it stays away from us in the Caribbean. So Francine dealing with that now in the Bay of Campeche and western Gulf of Mexico and then northern Gulf of Mexico. And Gordon, that is the next name on the list. So if that spot gets a name, Gordon would be the next name. And by the way, today is the peak of hurricane season. So yeah, we got a long way to go, but just taking it storm by storm. Today, watching those scattered areas of storms, let me know in the comments what you're getting. There goes Francine, as I highlighted earlier, lifting up to the north. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, we'll have a few showers and storms around. It is kind of more of that unsettled pattern where some of us have gotten thunderstorms, and if you haven't, we have been so very hot. Still summertime. That angle of the sun is very sharp this time of year. So if you don't get any showers and storms around, we're going to have some very hot temps. Spotty showers and storms once again. Just watching that as we work our way into our Thursday forecast. But look at the seas building. Very dangerous western and northern Gulf. You'll see a lot of these reds popping up. We'll be over 5, almost 6 meters. So we're looking upwards of about 20 feet. If this does become a Category 2 hurricane with winds around 100 miles per hour, that will crank up those seas. Storm surge where this comes on shore of about 5 to 10 feet. That would be the storm surge. These are those wave heights, meters, feet on your screen. Very dangerous working forward. This here is by the time we get into Thursday. And then by the end of the week, seas are going to build a little bit. just to the east of the Caribbean with a couple of those tropical waves that will be getting closer. Now, the Atlantic region of Canada, keeping an eye on those next areas. I mentioned Bermuda too. Short term, just watching out for some of these rain and storms. We have this front around stretching down to Bermuda, giving Bermuda the increased chance of rain for today. These fronts just kind of hugging the coast. Otherwise, some of us just very settled. This is on our Wednesday. Same thing on Thursday. Most of the rain would be well to the east of Newfoundland as we work our way into Thursday. But as far as the rain total goes, watching it, you can see some of the rain here. Once again, some of these brighter colors, that corresponds to 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. So watching some downpours. We've had some rain around. I mentioned some of that moisture kind of feeding in near eastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. We could get a few spots of about 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain. So here's Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic. Here's Puerto Rico. Cayman Islands, not a ton, mainly dry, but Puerto Rico will get some scattered showers and storms. British and U.S. Virgin Islands, some scattered showers have been around now, so we'll see that through Anguilla, back through St. Kitts and Nevis, watching Montserrat and Ceiba. Then we swing to the south. It's these pockets kind of just pulling in from the east that gave us some of the bigger rain yesterday in parts of Trinidad. So watching out for some spots over the next 3 days that could get 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. That could lead to some localized flooding. Not as much in Suriname, or mainly dry. Some showers in Guyana, northeastern Venezuela. The rain chance is higher, and still some higher totals. Parts of Mexico closer to Guatemala and El Salvador, in western sections of Honduras, and then scattered about elsewhere, Nicaragua south through Costa Rica, Panama. Hit or miss for us in Belize and the Yucatan. Some rain around Mexico City, but there are those very high totals. This is on my chart. This is over a foot of rain that will move in with Francine as it lifts to the north. So right on track, just a couple little shifts. That's not a big deal. That always happens. Generally on track. So hopefully we're thinking of our friends that are dealing with Francine over the next couple of days. So a 50% chance of scattered showers and storms in Jamaica. Watch out for some gusty winds and some downpours if we happen to get some of these moving in. But the rain chance is lower in the Cayman Islands, 20 to 30% chance. Still unsettled, as I mentioned right at the beginning. Trinidad and Tobago, we have that chance of scattered showers and storms. 40 to 50% chance in Barbados. Just watching some that will try to feed in. And looking at a 40 to 50% chance the next couple days. Could be a little higher on Thursday across St. Lucia. Rain chance 50% the next 2 days in Grenada, and a 40 to 50% chance the next 3 days, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 40 to 50% chance in Martinique. See how the rain chance is higher than a few days ago. Dominica, about a 50% chance, and holding at an even 50% chance the next 3 days in Guadeloupe. Rain chance 50% in Antigua, Barbuda today. 30% chance tomorrow, 40% chance on Thursday, and holding at a 40% chance. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, rain chance 50% tomorrow. Anguilla and St. Bart's, and looking at about a 30 to 40% chance in passing showers. Could get a thunderstorm, St. Martin, Ceiba, and Statia. 50% chance the next 2 days in Puerto Rico. Watching out for some downpours. Let me know in the comments. 40% chance. It's unsettled now across the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. 30 to 40% chance in the Bahamas. Still favoring the northern Bahamas. Thank you for leaving me those comments. Let me know what's going on across the Bahamas. 30 to 40% chance Turks and Caicos. Some scattered showers and storms possible in the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Some of that moisture has been moving in from the north, and we're looking at a 30 to 40% chance in Belize. So not super high, but a few spotty showers and storms. Rain chance about 20 to 30% on Thursday in Aruba. About a 20 to 30% chance in Curacao and Bonaire on Thursday. It does go up slightly. 30 to 40% chance in Guyana. Mainly dry across Suriname. We may catch a shower today, generally in our western sections. 30 to 40% chance, some spotty showers and storms in Cuba, Costa Rica, Panama, holding on to that seasonal 60% chance, and a 40% chance in Nicaragua. 30 to 40% chance across Honduras, higher to the west. 50 to 60% chance, watching out for some flooding. Still some dangerous rivers. Guatemala and El Salvador, watching those river crossings. Mexico City, high chance, 60% chance the next 2 days. But Mexico City, all of Francine is well off to the east. 40 to 50% chance, scattered showers and storms. In the Yucatan of Mexico, all of Francine is off to the west. So kind of splitting some areas. Northern Colombia, 30 to 40% chance. And a 30% chance the next couple days in northern Venezuela. Better chance northeastern Venezuela. And that rain chance in Bermuda with that front kind of lingering. It is going to be on the higher side the next 3 days. So Francine getting stronger. How strong? really to be determined. I mentioned how the water temperatures have actually gone down some. We've had that dry air filter in. I'm just hoping some of that holds, but I do expect at least gradual strengthening, tracking some of those scattered storms across the Caribbean and those tropical waves to the east. First one not developing. I believe that second one will develop, so that's what we will be tracking together. So I hope you're doing well. Please stay safe and have a good rest of your day.